El Salvador. It's a small country from Central America, and in these slides you will be able to see many of the artworks that has been displayed or done from El Salvador artists. I do show one of the most famous ones and two sculptures that are known in El Salvador, plus 4 landscapes that have artistic views. I hope you enjoy this. Fernando Loro. He is known for his simple but nice designs, two-dimensional pictures with lots of color. Most of them are primary colors. Almost all the time he draws birds or animals, flowers, simple adobe houses with red tiles. He was born in El Salvador, San Salvador, in 1949. He is a painter, a sculptor, a muralist, a composer, and a performer. He's one of the many founders of the movement in La Palma that began in 1972. He's also a founder of La Semilla de Dios, which was founded in 1977. His work is exhibited at the White House Museum of Rome, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and also the Museum of Latin America and the United Nations Gallery in New York, and with 2 others, the Museum of Modern Latin America Art in Washington, D.C., and the Forma Museum from El Salvador. In the next slide, we will see one of his artworks. This is one of his paintings, which is named Al Beso del Sol, To Kiss the Sun by Fernando Loro. Alfredo Linares is another well-known Salvadoran artist. His gallery is located in La Palma. His styles consist mostly of watercolor paintings. In his gallery, you may find original paintings and lithographies. Many of the paintings of Linares are featuring notes representing a message of peace, women with heads covered in blankets or of different colors that suggest a religious symbol, pets and earthenware, typical rural houses and huts that you can also see in his paintings. Miguel Ángel Ramírez was born February the 9th, 1960, in the city of Santo Tomás de San Salvador, El Salvador. He is best known for painting faces of children expressing different emotions which reflect life in El Salvador. You can see in many of his paintings the contrast between the innocence of children with the hardship of life. Yet the smile of a child is enough to bring hope into the picture. Carlos Cañas. He painted this portrait in 1984 called Zumbual. Was the first and perhaps the only known artist of Salvadorans who committed his artistic future to denounce the bloody massacres perpetrated by the military during the Salvadorian Civil War. Painting as social criticism was something rarely seen before the conflict, but leaving aside the abstract, Carlos Cañas captured the slaughter in the river of Zumbual, department at Chalagatango in 1980. Because the media were and remained in the hands of a small group, the Salvadorian people, unaware of this bloody event, that Carlos Cañas immortalized with this eloquent scene of a mountain of dead bodies, twisted and dislocated. The slaughter were old men, women, and children. Roberto Garcia. He painted this in 1984. It's called Bandera, which translates to flag. This picture is supposed to be a social politic work denouncing a painted during the years of Civil War and shows a flag made of twisted cloth, unable to fly free in the wind. It's torn and it has blood-stained darkly dark background. The colors of El Salvador's flag is blue and white. Hugo Martínez Acuña. Recuerdos del olvido. Memories in a biblion, an allegory of the past, the Titanic entrance gates to the colonial houses, huge balconies, red brick halls with tile roof surroundings, the vast courtyard and garden, a kingdom of the past that overpopulation has vanquished and destroyed, is seen in this portrait. San Villas, from 1932 to 1991. This picture is called Retrato de un hombre desconocido, a portrait of a man unknown. It was painted in 1973. Despite the title of the work, there is no man, and the hand is only human element. The central part is occupied by a sheet that blocks the human body. The viewer is supposed to reveal the nature behind the sheet. Valero Lecha, from 1894 to 1976. Familia de Papel, Paper Family, was painted in 1959. This work shows Leche's versatility and his mastery of stroke in planes. This work is essentially still life. This sculpture is called Atalakiti. He was born in 1928. The sculpture was after this chief from El Salvador. The sculpture was made by Valentina Estrada in the city of San Salvador and throughout the rest of the country. There are many sculptures and mountains that give testimony to the beauty of El Salvador's art. One sculpture that left a great legacy in El Salvador art is Valente Estrada, which was born in 1902 to 1987. During his lifetime, he created about 250 sculptures, mostly on stone, but some were done on bronze. Many of the sculptures can be found in the public areas throughout the country. It's been said that Valentin Estrada violated the art of sculpting in El Salvador. He trained and studied in Spain. In 1928, he sculpted his most impressive and imposing work, which is the 2.20-meter statue of Chief Indian Atalakati, which is actually a resemblance of himself. The sculpture was named Atalaki in recognition of the chief's effort against the invading forces of his time. This monument is an icon to San Salvador City, El Salvador del Mundo, which is the savior of the world. It's a monument that you're able to find and see in El Salvador. Art landscape from El Salvador. This is one of the four that I have chosen to show, which is Joga de Gran, Puppy of the Americas. It's a very important part of El Salvador's history. It's considered to be the Puppy of the Americas. This site was buried in volcanic ashes from an eruption, and the level of preservation is superb. It observes a glimpse into what life was like 1,400 years ago. It was August about 595 AD when the Loma Caldera volcano erupted in hot ashes and cinders, and the inhabitants of the classic period were living 600 meters from the volcano's center. They therefore had to flee immediately, leaving everything behind. Food on the tables, their homes, and everything else was left behind. This area covers approximately 5 to 10 square kilometers and are located at the city of Chalchupan in the department of Santa Ana, about 85 kilometers west of El Salvador. They are Maya ruins from Tazuzman. It's believed that the Olmecs, Toltecs, Mayas, Pocomanens, and the Pipils occupied this area of Mesoamerica. Tazuzmal is the Quinch language, means place where the victims were buried. These ruins are a series of structures that date back to 100 to 1200 BC. It's believed that this community was constructed by the Mayans who settled here. It includes tombs, smaller pyramids, as well as complex drainage systems. An Hindu workshop was also found on this site. The main pyramid is about 23 meters high. A ball court was also discovered here. Unfortunately, it's believed that the captain of the losing team was then sacrificed. A lot of research and evacuation has been done on this site. Magnificent artifacts have been found here too. Also located in the same area are the Casablanca ruins, which are the remains of a very large pre-classic and classic period settlement. A coffee plantation farm named Casablanca was located here during the colonial times, and when the ancient ruins were found, the archaeological site was given the same name. The Casablanca ruins are composed of 6 structures that have been evacuated and some are partly restored. The tallest pyramid reaches approximately 15 meters. Structures 4 and 5 are still buried, so visitors are only able to see blocks or swellings on the ground. San Andrés en la Libertad is an impressive group of ceremonial centers and pyramids that date back to the late Classic period where the important Mayans would live. These archaeological ruins were first discovered in the 19th century, but evacuations did not start until the 1940s. Findings on this ancient site provide that San Andrés had business dealing with the Mayans in Copan, which is in Honduras, and also in Mexico, as well as with other Mayan villages in Belize and Guatemala, making it an important and influential Mayan center in this region.